My name is Joost. I'm going to be your navigator through the next 3 days. Welcome to the second National Social Protection Conference. Distinguished delegates, guests, friends from all over the world. As you know, it's a tradition in Pakistan to start with the recitation of the Holy Quran. So I would like to request our colleagues.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون
So we're going to start with our opening, and I have the pleasure to introduce you to our first speaker today. She's the country director of GIZ, the German International Development Agency. Please welcome Ms. Maria José Pode.
Perfect. Good morning, everybody. So, Honorable Mr. Najam Ahmed Shah, Chairman, Planning Development Board, Government of Sindh. Honorable Mr. Amer Ali Ahmad, Secretary BISP. Honorable Madam Senator Rubina Khalid, Chairperson BISP. Honorable Mr. Safaraz Rajar, Special Assistant of Chief Minister Sindh on Social Protection of the Government of Sindh. Honorable Dr. Rüdiger Lotz, German Consul General. Honorable Mr. Sébastien Lerouillon, Team Leader, Government Development European Union. Honorable guest, esteemed colleagues and partners. So it's a great pleasure to be here. It's my first time in Karachi, and I'm very happy to see many familiar faces this morning. And it has been quite some time that we've been working on those topics, so I'm super excited that today the day has finally come that we start the second National Social Protection Conference. And it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you and officially open this conference. And on behalf of GIZ, I extend my sincere gratitude to all our partners, distinguished speakers, and participants who have joined us here today. This conference brings together policymakers, experts, and practitioners who are deeply committed to strengthening the social protection system in Pakistan. And your presence here is the testament to the importance of this topic and to the collective responsibility we all share in ensuring that social protection reaches those who need it the most. After our joint success during 2003 conference, we at GIZ are proud to once again host the second conference together on behalf of the EU and the German Development Corporation, with so many valued and long-standing partners. GIZ also has been a long-standing supporter of social protection in Pakistan. So on behalf of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development and the EU, we are currently working on, first, social protection, social health protection, including nutrition of adolescent girls, and second, adaptive social protection. So we thank you for your partnership and collaboration that you have demonstrated in making our work in these areas successful over the past years, and this conference will advance that agenda even further. The knowledge, the experience, and perspective that each one of you will enrich our discussion and help us find innovative solutions to strengthen social protection in Pakistan. Now allow me quickly present what we can be expecting over the next 3 days. We will dive into a series of discussions that aim to drive forward the social protection agenda. Our session will cover key topics such as improving collaborative governance, ensuring financial sustainability, enhancing digital innovations, and building resilience. The agenda will be structured along the 4 building blocks for adaptive social protection. First one, policy, institution, partnerships. Second one, financing. Third, data and information. And fourth, programs and delivery systems. You will find those 4 blocks reappearing into the agenda and throughout the discussions. On these topics, we will hear from national and international experts who will share best practices, research findings, and policy recommendations. So interactive panel discussions will allow us to exchange ideas, identify challenges, and explore practical solutions for strengthening Pakistan's social protection. Most importantly, this conference is not just about dialogue. It's about action. And given current times and situation, it's more important to join forces and to be more efficient and to reach out for impact and cooperation and coherence in whatever we do. And we hope that the discussions we have here will lead to meaningful steps, concrete outputs and impacts toward improving social protection systems in Pakistan, ensuring that they are more inclusive, resilient, and adaptive. So with that, once again, I can extend a warm welcome to all of you, and thank you, and I wish us a very successful conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Meher Jose Podey, GIZ Country Director for Pakistan. And now we were expecting opening remarks by the Chairman for Planning and Development Board, Government of Sindh. He has an urgent appointment. He will join us later, so you will hear from him later. But this brings us back pretty much on the time track. And how many of you have joined the first National Social Protection Conference in Burban? Who was there? Okay, so I understand that there will be also some pictures shown, and you can see the difference to before and after, because we have now 3 colleagues who will remind us of what happened in the last conference and until today. So I have the pleasure to call on the Director General of the Benazir Bhutto Income Support Program, Mr. Naveed Akbar, the Chairperson, Chief Minister Inspection Team, Government of Sindh, Ms. Shireen Mustafa, and the Head of Social Protection GIZ, Ms. Johanna Knös. Please give them a warm welcome and come on stage.
Hi everyone, good morning. So it's really exciting to see you all once again, and very exciting to see all the stakeholders working in public and private sector, in the development sector, sitting under one roof. So basically, when we discussed the idea of holding the first National Social Protection Conference with GIZ, the concept behind holding that conference was to bring all the stakeholders together who keep discussing social protection, duplication of efforts and resources within their offices, within corridors, within different workshops, within different conferences, but they were not really together under one roof. to really discuss and explore the possibility of collaboration. So Benazir Income Support Program and GIZ decided back in 2023 to gather all the stakeholders under one roof and to discuss the possibilities of future collaboration. So that the idea of first National Social Protection Conference was to understand who is doing what under social protection umbrella, and who is financing which province, federal government, which program, how many programs are being implemented in the different areas, so that in future we can come up with the collaboration, with the strategy to avoid duplication of efforts and resources. And at the end of first National Social Protection Conference in Bhuban, we signed the declaration, both by the federal and provincial governments.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. So by the end of this year, I will be turning 60. So I have to recall. So already in the phase of senile dementia, right? Nevertheless, 2023 is just past, and we are in 2025. The first conference, if I recall, as Naveed says, that yes, the thoughts were scattered, discussions were scattered, but discussions was there. Everybody is talking about social protection, everybody was talking about social welfare, somewhere confusions between welfare and protection, overlapping, and issues regarding data, how to access that data, how to utilize that data. These were the predominant questions in that conference. And during different panel discussions, by interacting on sidelines, at dinners with different tables, and very beautiful environment of Bourbon, we all were, consensus was there that particularly collaboration between provinces and federal provinces is essential. Two, the data sharing is very important. In order to do away with the duplications, and the very next phase of social welfare and social protection thinking process need to change. So the community dialogue about social protection should broaden, and that happened. So, Social Protection Authority in province of Sindh started working. Punjab already doing. Colleagues sitting here, we traveled together to another international conference in Berlin, again in 2023. That was one of the learning experience as well. So I think the two things that predominantly happened since then was collaboration, coordination, as well as working together, and we are on trajectory. I'm glad that I'm sharing these things. Although I'm not part of this whole process on department's platform, but being part of the fraternity who talks about social protection is also a very good opportunity to be the part of the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Madam. So my name is Johanna Knus. I'm heading the GIZ portfolio on social protection. And if I am asked to recap since Bourbon, I can just tell you what comes into my head first, that it was like, I think, the second day in the country for me that I arrived, and I was lucky to be part of a mission to explore what I would do on adaptive social protection here in Pakistan. And it started with this Bourbon conference in a very beautiful setting. So that is my first memory of that year, that I thought, what a beautiful country I'm assigned to be here in Bourbon. The second is, and I would like to pick up on what you just said, that is about the people and having most of the people come back now for this conference. So I'm recapping that we had very good interactions, that I met a lot of new interesting people, and that I thought I'm very lucky that I'm posted to Pakistan to work on adaptive social protection. On a more technical note, we have here the declaration, and it was already said that we committed to working together more on coordination, more on data exchange, more on linking disaster protection, climate change, and social protection. So I think we've achieved a lot. Looking into the room here today, we have new and old friends, and we also have the NDMA, the PDMA, the climate experts, the social protection experts, all sitting in one roof from all the provinces, all the development partners. So I think we've achieved a lot in bringing together the key stakeholders that need to speak to one another, as well as a very high political level of guidance and ownership that is needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us where we come from and where we are now. And you have probably noticed from pictures also there is a picture wall in the back that the numbers have approximately tripled. So there is much more knowledge, much more people today here under this roof than 2 years ago. So we hopefully have sufficient time for you to have also these important informal conversations during coffee break and lunch and to get to know each other better. So without further ado, we actually have a couple of speakers for you, and the lead will be done by the German Consul General living here in Karachi. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Dr. Rüdiger Lotz. One moment, Dr. Lotz.
Okay, now it works. Now it works. Again, Mr. Nayam Ahmed Shah, Mr. Amir Ali Ahmed, Madam Senator Rubina Khalid, Mr. Safar Azraja, Mr. Sebastian Lorion, Mrs. Podai, representatives of the GIZ, of other international organizations. Good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm really delighted to see so many faces, so many excited faces here in the room today. Many of which I met right here in Karachi only a few months ago at the launch of the EU co-financing for the Adaptive Social Protection Project. So it's good to see many of you again here today. Germany was really honored to also support the last social protection conference back in 2023, as was already mentioned. And as we have already heard from previous speakers, the outcome of the conference, in particular the Bourban statement, it marked an important milestone in our joint progress across all areas of social protection in Pakistan. To build on this success, on this joint success from 2023, Germany is proud to once again support this conference now, and now, of course, as part of a Team Europe. It reflects our strong joint commitment to social protection and to inclusion, to inclusive development. I would like, in particular, to express my sincere gratitude to the large and dedicated network of partners that helped making this conference a reality, and that includes, of course, the federal and the provincial governments of Pakistan. It includes the German implementing partners, GIZ and KfW, and it includes our development partners, the World Bank, the ADB, the UN, and many more, and of course the European Union. I think this partnership provides an excellent foundation for exchanging ideas, for sharing best practices, and for exploring new ways to strengthen these joint efforts over the next days. We, Germany and Pakistan, we share a long-standing partnership, a friendship that is built on trust, on cooperation, and a shared vision of a better future. And that is a cooperation in many fields, cultural, politically, economically. But when it comes to cooperation, social protection is really a key area of our collaboration and will remain so. Because both of our countries understand the importance of ensuring dignity, of ensuring well-being for all, and ensuring that especially for the most vulnerable members of society. Over the years, the German government has scaled up its global commitment to social protection in Pakistan exactly for that reason. Let me highlight at the end two aspects that I'm particularly looking forward to over the next 3 days. That is first, the thematic sessions that link cross-cutting topics like digitalization, like resilience building with social protection. For Germany, identifying and working along these intersections is crucial for innovation, crucial for efficiency, and for the impact of the programs. And secondly, building close coordination and robust partnerships for a strong social protection system. So I'm confident that with your expertise, with the discussions that we are going to hear and see, we will emerge with valuable insights and concrete outcomes over the next 3 days. And this will help to shape a more inclusive and resilient social protection system. We, Germany, stand ready to continue supporting Pakistan and its partners in this journey. And let us work together towards a future where social protection is really a reality for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lotz, for delivering a key address on behalf of the German government. And we have another one, which is coming from our friends from the European Union. He is a team leader, governance and human capital development at the European Union, lives here in Pakistan currently. Please give a warm welcome to Sébastien Lorient.
Honorable guests and speakers, dear participants, Assalamu alaikum, good morning. I am thrilled to be here today to kickstart the second National Social Protection Conference. The first time I heard about it was just a few days after arriving in Pakistan, actually, contrary to Johanna, who had the chance to be there. At that point, the delegation of the European Union was just at the early stages of considering a new support package in the area of climate resilience and social protection for Pakistan. And every partner we met were referring to the amazing conference that was the Durban conference of 2023. I wish we'd been on those pictures. At the time, the European Union was not an active partner in the sector, and it felt like we were missing out on an important event and opportunity. I'm very pleased to report that this is no longer the case. The EU's investments of 15 million euros in the form of a grant has helped and will help expanding adaptive social protection in collaboration with our Team Europe partner, Germany. It is a tangible demonstration of the EU's commitments to support Pakistan, and in this case, our partners from the government of Sindh, to build the resilience of the most vulnerable populations against the effects of climate change. This means investing in their capacity to resist and recover from climate-induced shocks, thereby protecting livelihoods and reducing negative coping strategies. So let me just share a word on why it is important for the European Union to be part of this discussion on adaptive social protection. The answer is straightforward. Climate change is happening, and it has a clear social and economic impacts. The 2022 floods are a case in point. In addition to displacing and affecting 33 million people, the estimated damages, losses, and rehabilitation costs totaled 46 billion USD. Regrettably, this only confirms that the lack of adaptation action is costly, and this signals an urgent need to speed up the implementation of adaptation and mitigation measures. In this context, social protection is becoming increasingly relevant. With adequate measures, systems, and funding, it can first increase coping capacity ahead of shocks, second, address economic barriers towards climate-resilient livelihoods, and third, reach affected populations in fast and cost-effective manner. Social protection is also very important in the context of what we call in the EU the global getaway, which is our massive EU external action framework aimed at narrowing the global investment gap for green and digital transition. In this context, social protection is crucial to ensure that these transitions are just, and we need to mitigate the potential negative impact on income and jobs of these transitions. We need to ensure that new jobs created are decent. So through its programs, the European Union focuses on the strengthening of institutional frameworks and systems, including digital systems, that underpin national social protection policies to make them more sustainable, inclusive, adaptive, and gender responsive. At the global level, the European Union is funding the Digital Convergence Initiative 24-27. This program aims to boost the digitalization of social protection across partner countries. It is implemented in a Team Europe approach, also with GIZ and Expertise France, with the support of the International Labour Organization and the World Bank. I am pleased to see in the agenda that the work of the program will be shared during the conference. The EU is also the largest provider of public climate finance globally, with more than 23 billion euros per year. It accounts for a third of the world public climate finance. These funds go to supporting renewable energy projects, climate adaptation efforts, disaster risk reduction, and low carbon development in vulnerable regions. All this goes to say that the European Union has always been and continues to be a strong advocate for robust social protection systems, and increasingly so as part of efforts to protect and prepare people for climate change adaptation and climate mitigation in general. A number of development partners are also active in the field of social protection in the country, all present today: KfW, the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, FCDO, and various UN agencies, FAO, WFP in particular, and countless civil society organizations, some of which I already had the pleasure to meet this morning. We also have the EU's Humanitarian Aid Office, ECHO, that is working on institutionalizing early and anticipatory action. But before I conclude, I would like to stress the most important point, and that is the importance of ownership and leadership of these efforts by Pakistan and Sindh authorities in the case of our projects. And this participation today is testament of this ownership. As we all know, the need to adapt existing social protection and disaster response mechanism in the face of climate change is strongly asserted in the wake of the 2022 floods. This concern was reflected to a certain extent in national plans and strategy, for example, the 4RF, the 23 National Adaptation Plan, and National Policy Framework for Poverty Alleviation and Social Protection. But now is really the time for action. The next urgent step is to translate these plans into concrete action with adequate resources. And this conference is a great opportunity to accelerate the movement towards this. So just as adaptive social protection is about connecting the dots, it is important that we collectively consolidate our respective work to maximize impact and look for opportunities to scale up and expand successful systems and practices. We remain confident that the Team Europe approach is a solid partner to support Pakistan to build a robust adaptive social protection framework. Thank you and shukriya.
Merci, Sébastien Lorient. And we have a quick change on the stage. And as you can see from the project, from the agenda, we are asking 3 colleagues from different institutions to share the strategic priorities and insights on advancing investments in social protection here in Pakistan. So I would like to request on stage Dr. Masuma Zaidi, Senior Sector Specialist, Health and Social Protection, KfW, Ms. Sophia Shakil, Director, Human and Social Development, Asian Development Bank, and Mr. Suhail Saeed Abbasi, Senior Social Protection Specialist of the World Bank. Please give them a warm welcome. And we asked each of them to give us a 5-minute insight on how to advance investments in social protection in Pakistan. So everybody gets a mic. Okay, so I just go from the top of the program, right? So I hand over the word to Dr. Masuma Zaidi.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mr. Najam Ahmed Shah, Chairman Planning and Development Sindh, Ms. Rubina Khalid, Chairman BISP, Mr. Lotz, the German Councillor, and dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and assalamu alaikum. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me here to this second conference. Of course, as mentioned by GIZ country director, that it's a call for action now towards improving social protection in Pakistan. So on behalf of KfW, the development cooperation between Pakistan and Germany dates back to 1961. Pakistan has been Germany's first partner countries. KfW, the German Development Bank, on behalf of the German government, has been supporting the development of Pakistan in various sectors, ranging from renewable energy generation to resilient economic growth, enhanced vocational training to improve social services, health, and social protection. Our regional focus is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Nevertheless, several initiatives are also being financed in other parts of the country, including initiatives in Sindh. The total value of KfW's financial cooperation with Pakistan is over 3 billion euros. In addition, KfW is focusing climate change interventions, including climate adaptive social protection. As we know, social protection includes all forms of social insurance, as well as contribution-free cash or in-kind support that safeguards people against individual risk and situations that they may face during their lifetime. KfW's reflections can be seen in various SDGs, such as no poverty, good health and well-being, and reduce inequalities. Speaking about Germany's contribution to health and social protection, through KfW, the Social Protection Initiative started back in 2010 through a feasibility study conducted by OPM, where social health protection schemes in Pakistan were explored, and they were launched in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Gilgit-Baltistan. The overall vision of the scheme was progressive movement towards a universal coverage model embracing the entire population, in which the needs of the poorest were specifically protected by the government, and where the availability and quality of essential services were to be ensured. The program was launched in 2015 with a grant support of 44.5 million euros in KP and GB in 4 phases. The first phase was focused on the hospitalization services for the poorest segment of the society. The second phase was to strengthen primary health care and to establish the OPD services, and now moving slowly towards digitalization of healthcare facilities to strengthen medical and track records of patients, contributing towards stronger referral mechanism reaching about 1 million individuals. Regarding social protection, soon after the 2022 floods, KfW provided 27 million euro grant to Benazir Income Support Program, where the project concerned support to add liquidity constraints to the poor that were affected by the flood 2022, as well as to build resilience to future climate change related events. Under the Nasho Noma program, top-up funding was done, which reached almost 4 million individuals, 2.7 million children, and 1.3 million pregnant women. Similarly, number of families reached by the adolescent girls under the conditional cash transfers in the flood-affected districts were also more than 560. Last but not the least, the German government has supported various projects nationwide, such as Safe Blood Transfusion, where 15 regional blood centers were built nationwide, out of which 4 were only built in Sindh, 1 in Karachi, 1 in Jamshedpur, Nawabshah, and Sakkar. We have ongoing projects to improve health of mothers and children and to provide family planning services through social franchise models in the remote areas of Pakistan, since population remains a huge challenge of the country. We will soon be implementing family planning projects in 10 districts of Sindh, including also urban slums in Karachi. KfW shall remain committed to support Pakistan in building a resilient healthcare system, recognizing the importance of social protection as a pillar of social and economic development. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Masuma. And now I will request Ms. Sophia Shakil to speak on behalf of ADB.
Okay, thank you, Joost. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Is this working? Yes, okay. So it's my pleasure to be here on behalf of the Asian Development Bank. We have been actively supporting social protection in Pakistan, starting with our first engagement in Benazir Income Support Program back in 2008. Our aim was at that time in 2008 to provide cash transfers to the poorest families at the time when there was a big economic crisis, to really help poorest families to mitigate the adverse effects of those economic shocks. With our continued engagement, in 2013, ADB provided a $430 million project loan under the Social Protection Development Project, which was to finance the expansion of coverage of the unconditional cash transfers. This was later topped up in 2019 with another $200 million for the expansion of coverage of this program, focusing, though, on institutional strengthening with improved financial management and control systems and policy research. We're here now with an ongoing integrated social protection development program, which includes a $600 million loan, which was approved along with a $24 million grant, which was co-financed by the Education Above All Foundation from Qatar in December 2021. And now more recently, with another $330 million in additional financing to continue support to this very important program. The crux of our program support really aims to strengthen the institutional capacity for social protection, including integrating the dimensions of climate resilience, improving access to primary and secondary education for children of the most poor and vulnerable families, and improve access to health services and nutrition supplies for women and children under the ages of 2 belonging to the most vulnerable families. So with this, while the numbers are big, ADB has committed over $1 billion in support to Pakistan's social protection program, including through BISB. What I'd really like to highlight is that, our partnership has been aimed at promoting strong collaboration, building systems, and ensuring transparency, because at the end of the day, it's really important that the very robust mechanism that has been established under BISP remains as a credible vehicle to target financial support to the deserving families. We're now, very proud that 2.4 million eligible families are provided with financial support. And, I can just share some numbers that, through this program, 6.8 million children are being covered for primary education, which includes 3.2 million girls, 2.5 million children for secondary education, again, 1.1 million girls, which is signaling a very important support to ensure continuation of their education. The program has also supported pregnant and lactating women, about 165,000 women, and children under 2 years of age in the conditional cash transfers on health and nutrition, with supply of nutritional supplements, health services, and cash benefits, which has just been an incredible source of support to maintain their both livelihoods and well-being. We will aim to support in our continued engagement to deepen social protections coverage across the nation, especially to improve its outreach at the local level, collaborating closely with provincial agencies to include inclusive and adaptive social protection, leveraging our ongoing experiences and to promote synergies between the supply side in education and health services, in addition to the shifting demand side. As we know, poverty knows no barriers, and it starts to develop sort of like through a shifting process with the multidimensional impacts of climate change and further economic shocks. So it's very important that the system continues to adapt to respond to this. And finally, in terms of our strategic priorities, we also believe that taking a more holistic approach in providing a life cycle set of interventions to support the poor, vulnerable, to graduate out of receiving cash in support, is to really see scale up of graduation programs that support livelihood skills training. So with that, I'm really proud that it's the Asian Development Bank, that we are here together with all the partners, because this is not an agenda that can be tackled by just one agency or in isolation. So we're very proud to be part of the wider development partner community, but most importantly, all the stakeholders that include the BISP, that include the provincial, the provinces, and even at the province level, as we know, human beings, the population does not normally see, in the kind of silos. Their needs are not in silos as we have set ourselves up to in the public sector by line departments. So we do need to see, much more engagement across a number of stakeholder agencies, which of course, calls for more coordination and collaboration, such as what this conference is aiming to lay the foundation for. So with that, I wish all of us a very productive 3 days, and I'm really excited to hear from the actual practitioners that are going to be speaking over the next couple of days. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sophia Shakil. But last but not least, our colleague from the World Bank, so Mr. Suhail Saeed Abbasi, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much. Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to all of you. Foremost, I would like to express my gratitude and support to GIZ for arranging this, and our provincial and federal partners. So it's really heartening to see that we have Madam Chairperson from BISP, we have Madam Chairperson from Punjab SP Authority, and our Special Advisor to the Chief Minister Sindh here. Just going back a little bit, Madam Sophia mentioned, Bank joined ADB and other development partners in 2008 when we started Benazir Income Support Program. At that time, there was no sort of platform or template available, so it was kind of learning from Latin America. The needs were, of course, huge, but there was no template as such to follow. I think since then, we have covered a lot of ground together with all the development partners, and Pakistan now has been able to showcase its flagship Benazir Income Support Program globally. In fact, we visited Brazil a few months ago, and the name Benazir was pretty much a household name there in terms of the practitioners there. So I think Pakistan can take a lot of heart from the fact that not only we were able to develop our social protection systems, but we were also able to showcase them globally, and then there are other countries that are learning from us. Madam Chairperson BIS would qualify this, that we have now several requests from other countries who would want to come and learn from us. So that's the basic background that how we all came about. Bank, as you all know, has been a very strong advocate and partner in this area. Presently, we have an ongoing portfolio of over $1 billion. We are supporting the federal program with a massive investments of close to $600 million. We have a $200 million program in Punjab. I see our CEO there. We have a $200 million program in Sindh. The CEO Sindh SP Authority is here as well. And then we have very good palpable interest coming from Balochistan. So recently, Balochistan has prepared and sent a request, a concept paper to the federal government, and they want to establish their own SP authority and system. We have had very close discussions with the Chief Secretary of Balochistan and the Additional Chief Secretary, Chairman Planning there. And Khyber Pakhtunkhwa also has shown some really good, keen interest in this. Now, this is the history, which is important to understand that where we started from and where we are. But I think part of the session when I was looking at it, the priorities and insight into the future. So how do we see that evolving from where we are now? The first thing first, we believe that the investments in social protection are indispensable. This is not something that Pakistan can afford to cut down or reduce. So this is something which Bank is fully committed, and we hope that together with our development partners, we'll stay the course in terms of making sure that we keep making these very important strategic investments. The second important point is that Pakistan is off late, and you must have heard and read in other areas too, that one of the crises in Pakistan is human capital crisis. Our human capital index is 0.39, which is essentially saying that the general population of Pakistan is only realizing less than 40% of their potential, which is in itself is a bottleneck in achieving our economic growth, in achieving our quality of life, and making the economic contributions that are required. That has also kind of pulled back our tax to GDP ratio. So it's very important that we understand and invest by understanding the nexus between the investments in social protection. Again, it goes without saying that it goes hand in hand with health and education as well. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, the IMF stabilization programs, we also understand that Pakistan, considering the peculiar economic circumstances we are in, we are kind of constrained to introduce certain policy measures that may have negative impact on the poorest and vulnerable. So in that regard, it's also very important that while on one hand we are stabilizing the overall economy and we're making sure that the country sort of gets back on the path of recovery, economic recovery, in the meantime, we do not further erode our human capital gains which we made over years. By the way, after COVID, we already saw a dip in that area. Some of the other speakers before me, ma'am, you also mentioned that the adaptive social protection is another very important area. So we all fully understand Pakistan is one of the most vulnerable countries in terms of climate change and climate shocks. We have seen that repeatedly from 2010-11 and these latest floods as well. Now, when we have such climate events, they do not just erode our physical infrastructure. They are also a setback to our social and economic development, especially at the household and family level. So we need to make sure that we have systems in place that can respond to those. Now, going forward, we have seen, as I briefly mentioned, that starting from BISP and now provincial authorities, we need to understand a few important parameters that would dictate the future of social protection in Pakistan. So starting from the policy and mandate, so after 18th Amendment, and with the growing federal government's program, there is a renewed discussion that who has the mandate of social protection in years to come. So BISP has played a very important role, but I think in the same way we need to understand that the provincial governments, as I mentioned, that Punjab and Sindh are already, developing their systems and programs, but Balochistan and KPK, we also expect them to follow. So there is a growing role of provincial governments going forward. Linked with this is also financing. So who's going to finance these XP expenditures or investments, however you're going to put them? Presently, the lion's share is coming from the federal government, but the discussions are already ongoing that there would be a reorientation where provinces would be expected to pitch in a bit more or perhaps take the tab of some of the provincial programs. Then we also need to understand the technical and operational capacities and comparative advantage. There are certain things which provinces, the provincial governments, and especially because they have their their presence right down to the union council and village level. So they are perhaps better placed to play certain roles. So I think this is also, and I look forward to this discussion in the next 3 days, that how we can complement the federal program coming together with the provincial programs where each entity is making contributions based on their technical and operational capacities and competitive advantage. So in this regard, we believe that going forward, the unconditional cash transfer, at least in the foreseeable future, should remain with the federal government. This is something which is a very heavy investment. This is something which Pakistan can ill afford to falter at this stage, and especially as I mentioned, the impact it has on the poorest and vulnerable. But at the same time, when it comes to conditional cash transfer, I think there should be a transitional plan where provinces would gradually take up more space, both financially as well as technically and operationally. The CCTs also are better placed at the provincial level because we are not only talking about the demand side, but we also have to see the supply side. And as we all understand that when it comes to health and education, it's the provincial government that has the responsibility of providing those quality services. Lastly, I would just conclude this, that the point I started, the human development, the human capital. The human capital investment cannot be possible, or the gain in human capital investment cannot be possible by investing only in one area. As you all understand, the health, the education, the social protection, they interact with each other. So I think one of the areas which I would like to leave as a food for thought for all of us for the next 2 days, perhaps to discuss, that not only we collaborate and integrate the federal and provincial programs on social protection, but how do we make sure that even within the provinces, the health, education, and social protection, they complement each other as well, so that we can truly capitalize on the joint investments and synergies in all these areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing some strategic thinking, priorities, and insights on advancing investments on social protection. We're going to request you to come down again, and we are going to continue in our program right away. And I have the pleasure to introduce you to our next speaker. She's the chairperson of BISP. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Madam Senator Rubina Khalid.
जरा नीचे रख दें मैं कर लगा हुआ है बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. Respected guests, Special Assistant to the Chief Minister, Sindh on Social Protection, and my very dear friend and colleague, Jahan Rawatu, who's representing the Social Protection Program, Punjab, Honorable Consul General, Country Director GIZ, European Union, German Development Corporation, government representatives, and our valued developmental partners, Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to all of you here. It's an honor to be a part of the second National Protection Conference. Your presence here reflects shared commitment to strengthening Pakistan's social protection system. This conference is a continuation of the journey that was started in 2023, which laid a strong foundation by promoting dialogue, identifying challenges, and opening the path for integrated and collaborative governance in social protection. We again once come together to renew our dedication to create a more resilient, inclusive, and adaptive social protection system. I would like to talk briefly about the organization that I am representing here, that is the Benazir Income Support Program. As you all very well know, that this was the vision of our late former Prime Minister, Mohtarama Shaheed Benazir Bhutto. She strongly believed that no nation can truly progress if its most vulnerable, its women, children, and marginalized communities are left behind. She envisioned a Pakistan where social protection is not a privilege, but a fundamental right. It was this steadfast commitment to the poor that led to the establishment of the Benazir Income Support Program in 2008, the largest social safety network that is working across Asia. I would like also to take this opportunity to say this here, that this program is not only a social protection program, but it has worked for the recognition of women all across Pakistan. All those faceless, nameless women who otherwise would not have been given an identity. This program has given identity to all those women who otherwise would not have been accounted for. The uniqueness of this program is that it recognizes the woman as the head of the household. And by adding a feature to it that there has to be a registration into the national database, you have to have an identity card led to the documentation of those thousands and hundreds of women which otherwise would not have been registered with any organization. So I think this program, the beauty of this program is not only that it is a social protection program, but it is a tool of that has ensured gender equality in our country, and it has given identity to all these women, which is, I think, it should be celebrated. As I myself belong to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, coming from a tribal society, before this program was launched, there was no idea that the women would be registered, because they were not allowed to vote as well, because they were not having identity cards. But this program, by making this condition of registration, has ensured that not only these women are getting financial help, they also have the right to vote by having an identity card, of course. Over the past 15 years, Benazir Income Support Program has evolved into a multidimensional social protection program addressing poverty, education, health, and economic inclusion. Allow me to share some of its impactful contributions here. BISP's unconditional cash transfers provide a lifeline to 9.8 million families, ensuring they receive quarterly financial support to meet their basic needs. This program is especially critical for women-headed households, empowering them with financial security and dignity. Through Benazir Talimi Wazaif, BISP has enrolled over 10.7 million children, with 50% being girls. Then again, it is a tool for empowerment for women, for the future of the women of Pakistan. Through Benazir Nashunupa program, that too is a flagship program, and it is transforming maternal and child health by providing nutrition support to pregnant and lactating mothers all over the country. By prioritizing early childhood development, we are ensuring a healthier and a stronger future for our next generation. One of BISP's most remarkable achievements is the development of Pakistan's first dynamic national socio-registry, that is the NSCR. And just before me, there was a mention of the devolution of this program to the provinces, which I strongly believe in, it should be done. But as far as the dynamic registration is concerned, it has to be with the federal government. Because as NADRA is doing registration, it is doing registration for all the country. So I think Benazir Income Support Program should be the data holding body, because if it is devolved and given to the provinces, maybe it will in some way be compromised. This is my belief, I may be wrong. So we are also launching a new skills development initiatives. There was a talk here about poverty graduation programs as well. So at the moment, we are making things easier for people, but we want to make lives better for people. Not only easy, but better. So through our new initiative for skills training program, we aim to achieve that target. And another thing is that unlike NADRA's identity verification system, BISP's National Socio-Economic Registry provides socio-economic classification, enabling targeted support for those who need it the most as a real-time dynamic database. That's what I was referring to it before. NSCR allows continuous updates and accurate beneficiary identification. Today, NSCR facilitates over 95 social sector programs at federal and provincial level. We are ensuring that resources reach the most vulnerable segments of the society. Ladies and gentlemen, our mission does not end here. The challenges of poverty, climate change, and economic instability demand even stronger social protection mechanisms based on best practices globally. Today, as we stand at this conference, I call upon our development partners, policymakers, and stakeholders to join hands in strengthening Pakistan's social protection framework. We must expand the reach of BIS programs to ensure that no one is left behind. Additionally, we must enhance federal-provincial coordination, as was discussed here before, to create an integrated social protection ecosystem. And before I conclude, I would like to extend my deepest appreciations to the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and our international development partners for their strong support in driving social protection innovations in advancing an adaptive and resilient social protection system for Pakistan. The government remains fully committed to strengthening and expanding social protection to uplift our most vulnerable communities. Together, we have made remarkable progress. Together, we will continue to build a Pakistan where every citizen has the opportunity to live with dignity and security. A sincere thank you to all our federal and provincial stakeholders for their contribution, and a special thanks to the government of Sindh for hosting, and also to Johanna for organizing this wonderful conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Senator Robina Khalid, for sharing a special remark here. And I think we go ahead in the program. So we have one more special remark for you. That's a special assistant to Chief Minister Sindh on social protection. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Safaraz Rajan. One moment, sir. Yes, thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable guests, organizers, council journals, officers, development partners, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. I am honored to welcome you to the second National Conference on Social Protection in Sindh. Today, we together to reaffirm our commitment to protecting the most vulnerable members of society. As we assemble here, we are reminded of the profound impact that social protection program can have on the lives of our citizens, from providing a safety net for the poor to empowering women and marginalized communities. Our social protection initiatives have been instrumental in promoting human dignity and social justice. In Sindh, our social protection landscape is comprised of various departments and initiatives working together to provide a comprehensive safety net for all citizens. These included the Department of Empowerment Persons with Disabilities, which works tirelessly to promote the rights and inclusion of persons with disabilities. The Labor Department, which protects the rights of workers and promotes decent work. The Zakat and Ushur Department, which provides financial assistance to the poor and needy. The Social Welfare Department, which implements various programs and services for vulnerable populations, including women, children, and marginalized communities. The Women Development Department, which works to promote women empowerment, equality, and social justice. The Health Department, which provides essential health care services to our citizens with affects in maternal and child health, nutrition, and disease prevention. School and College Education Department, which provided free education, scholarships, and girls stipend catering in large quantum of child population. And recognizing of the critical importance of social protection, the government of Sindh has taken a major step by establishing the Sindh Social Protection Authority, SSPA, and the Department of Social Protection are institutions. Spearheading our efforts to coordinate, consolidate, and strengthen the social protection landscape in the province. The SSPA is mandated to oversee implementation of social protection programs, policies, and initiative, while the Department of Social Protection is responsible for the administrative and operational aspects of social protection. Ladies and gentlemen, our flagship program, the Mamta program, is being implemented by the SSPA with support of the World Bank. The Mamta program is a health conditional cash transfer initiative to improve the health and nutritional outcomes of the pregnant and lactating women and their children. Through the Mamta program, we are providing financial support to vulnerable families, conditional on their participation in institutional health services. This program has already shown promising results with significant improvements in parental care and institutional deliveries and child vaccination rates. The establishment of SSPA and the Department of Social Protection, coupled with initiatives like the Mamta program, demonstrates our commitment to prioritizing social protection in Sindh. I am very pleased to share that an agreement has been signed between the Sindh Social Protection Authority, SSPA, and Benazir Income Support Program, BISP, to establish the data sharing mechanism. We are now very good eager to put our collaboration with GIS into action. As we speak, we are ready starting the preparation and implementation of our joint activities. Over the next few days, we will engage discussions, debates, and knowledge sharing sessions to identify innovative solutions to our social protection challenges. We will hear and learn from experts. Policymakers have made significant contribution to the field of adaptive social protection. I urge you all and my SSPA team to participate actively in discussions, for share your experiences and learn from one another. Let's work together to build a more inclusive, equitable, and just for all. Lastly, I would like to thank the EU, the German Development Cooperation implemented by GIZ, and all partners involved for organizers this conference in the province of Sindh. Thank you very much.
Bahut shukriya, Mr. Sabaras Raja. Thank you very much. And now I would like to request the technical team to show the PowerPoint presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, a few words about what to expect in the coming 3 days. So, we're going to have token of appreciation, but we are going to deliver them at the end of the conference now. And you heard also a little bit about the goals of the conference, so I will not repeat that. But there are a couple of things we want to say. First of all, you're all here, that's great. People who are not here can actually watch the opening and the closing on the YouTube side of BISP. But people who want to participate, or let's say, join the conference online, there is also linked on MS Teams. If you want to share that with colleagues for specific sessions, you can also always go to the secretariat and ask for the link if you don't see it. And a couple of speakers will actually join us online. There will be even one person who delivers her remarks at 2 o'clock in the night. So that's commitment, I guess. Time, energy breaks, as I mentioned, sometimes also the coffee breaks and the lunch are important parts of a conference, because that's when we have these important informal conversations. So we try to have 30-minute coffee breaks, 1-hour lunches. So that means a little bit also discipline by all the many speakers we have. You have been informed about your time budget. If you can hear from my accent, I'm German, right? The good or the bad reputation about Germans is they are very strict on time. The other one is that they're very funny. So my point is, I don't want to stand there and give you all the time signals. Please be mindful about the time. And last but not least, you saw and heard the gong. This is actually from Nepal, traveled all over the world, has been many times to Pakistan, but the gong is the first time in Karachi. This is also the way we want to signal when the coffee break is over, when we go for lunch and so on, okay? So please follow the time signal so that at the end of the day we finish on time and you can relax or continue to have conversations over dinner. So we have a special role for a couple of people. We call them, and I have a person who's a diplomat here, or several people in the room, so I'm on thin ice, we say in German, right? These are conference ambassadors, not the real ambassadors. And we ask them to be actively listening throughout the day, and in the morning, instead of hearing my voice, you get in 2-3 minutes the gist of the conference or personal insights from these people. And I have already Mr. Mohammed Dital Kalhoro and Mrs. Huma Halepoto, who are our ambassadors tomorrow. And don't be surprised if someone requests you to be an ambassador for day 3. Okay, so we're going to look for 2 more people. Development of the joint statement. And you heard from Ms. Johanna and others that we had the statement developed in Burban. So now the task is develop version 2.0, maybe with a slightly different focus. We try to make that very participatory, and I request Ms. Johanna Knus from GIZ to join me for a moment here to tell us how we are trying to make this, how we say that, the statement of the people, by the people, for the people, right? So something that not just comes from a consultant in the back room, but actually that you feel you all have contributed to it. Johanna, how are we going to do that?
Thank you very much. So we have a drafting team here in the room. I would ask them to please stand up so that you know who to approach over the next 3 days. Syed Mustafa, Mareike Bedfeld, Hijab Zia, Faiz Gilani, and Sujaja Baij. Are you all standing up? I'm too small to see you. There you are at the back. Good. So please approach my colleagues over the next days to come up with your points. What do you want to take forward? What are your aspirations? What would you like to commit to? This is a call to everyone in the room to look at tangible way forward and discuss them and bring them to the drafting team, who will then be there and, you know, making the bullets and a commitment that we can hopefully jointly take forward with those in charge of social protection here in the country. So we're asking all the development partners, World Bank, ADB, the government representatives, the provincial stakeholders to please approach this team and make sure that your comments are included in the declaration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johanna. And there will be a process in place. We'll let you know a little bit more how you can contribute over the next days. And session 10 is actually dedicated to reflect and to maybe think about how we make the reality that this is a living document. So we will inform you at session 10. So it's a very interactive session. A few words about the program. There is going to be a session today we call the Marketplace. So where you actually have the opportunity to visit 5 stations, maybe 3 out of 5. So you're responsible for your own learning. You have to actually, when the time comes, to get up and go to another room. You can interact. And this will be happening rather at the end of the day, the second last session of today. Then there is a session we call the open space. Open space doesn't mean that's a time for sightseeing if you're the first time in Karachi. Open space actually means that there is a session where you can call for a site meeting. We are going to create the agenda together. There's even another word for that called unconferencing. I will explain the process, but if you have a topic where you feel or question that you're struggling with, you can actually go to an agenda wall and put the topic, and you are your own moderator. How it works, don't worry, we will do that tomorrow after lunch. And last but not least, for me, I'm always ready for a group picture, as you can see from my hairstyle. But sometimes people tell me, you didn't tell me you're going to do a group picture and I haven't had the time to comb my hair. Nothing I can relate to. So we are going to take the group picture just before lunch break, okay? Just before lunch break. So if you need any preparations to look good, please do them before. And I'm going to take the picture from here, from the stage down, right? So the more close you are to the stage, the better you have to look, because you're bigger in the picture, okay? And as you can see, there are people taking videos and photos. I hope you're all okay that you are photographed and videographed. If you completely insist that your pictures are not used, please let the Secretariat know so that they are removed from any data depository, okay? And because they are videographing all the time, you have to look good at all times. You never know when you're photographed or videographed. Last but not least, Tuesday is we have food or dinner every night, but there's an official dinner tomorrow with a cultural show. And I think we're going to inform you about the kind of dress code or request what to wear. No? Okay, I get the sign, you can wear what you want. Smart casual or something? Yes, smart casual. And there is a nice show and great food to sample. And last but not least, showing the diversity in the room, we have given out name tags with a color code. Okay? And this color code has a meaning. How many of you have a green band as you are supposed to be from a government representative? Okay? Yes, a lot of greens. Then we have yellow dots. These are key donors and strategic partners, EU, KfW, embassies, British High Commission. How many yellow people we have? Okay, that's a much smaller group. Then the red ones are GIZ or GIZ. Red ones, please raise your hands. Yes, thank you. Then we have a lot of people who are innovation partners, NGOs, civil society, think tanks, universities, private sector, consultants. How many are kind of orange? Orange? How many orange? Very few. Some of them you are shy or they're very tired to raise a hand. And then last but not least, the blue ones, development partners. UN, World Bank, ADB, etc. Yes. And some of you haven't raised a hand. Are you in the right meeting? There is another one next door and you, what is social protection? Okay. So, the very last thing before I final speaker for you for this opening session, we have Mentimeter a few times. Mentimeter is one of these engagement apps. I hope you have a charged phone. Can you try to take your phone out, open the QR reader or just the picture? Can we show that on all? Hello? Can we show the QR code everywhere in the room? There should be something also when you just take your camera code. Does it work, sir? Yes? Okay. And you see the results. We have a difficult question. What's your expertise in social protection? You have 4 choices. Social protection, is it a new Netflix show? Social protection, I'm a curious learner with some basics, because we heard from Ms. Johanna, there's experts on other things here with a nexus to social protection. I've got solid knowledge and real-world experience. And don't be shy, it's anonymous. We will not ask you a difficult question. I am so expert, I draft policies or social protection programs in my sleep. It's anonymous, don't be shy. If you're really a serious social protection expert, you can name yourself and choose. Yeah? Okay, there are a couple of people. I have to inform you that social protection is not a new Netflix show. Yes, but by the end of 3 days, you will move to the right. That's for sure. Okay? Okay, so this is also a test that you are ready, because we are using Mentimeter in the first session for the possibility to ask questions. So the reason we do that is so that you know you have to have a charged phone. We also do the evaluation and some other things with Mentimeter, okay? So, that's already, so now I come back. So, last but not least, we have the honor and pleasure to have the Chairman, Planning and Development Board, Government of Sindh with us. He managed to get through the traffic, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Najam Ahmed Shah. Sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Distinguished participants, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'm extremely sorry. I was unable to come at 10 o'clock because of an overlap with another event by mistake of my office because they were unable to collaborate this change in the last minute last week that Naveed asked me to do so. So my apologies for that. Your presence here in Sindh for the important second National Social Protection Conference is a great honor for us. Indeed. And I would like to personally thank and welcome Dr. Rudiger Lotz, German Consul General, Honorable. Ms. Maria Jose, GIZ Country Director, and Ms. Johanna, GIZ's representative and the lead in this project who have been working with us. Sebastian Lorion, European Union side, and thank you for being here again. Representatives of KfW Bank and ADB and World Bank. Madam Senator, especially coming all the way from Islamabad, Rubina Khalid, Chairperson BISP. Mr. Sarfraz Raja, a Special Assistant to Chief Minister and Social Protection, Government of Sindh. Senior officers and representatives of the Government of Pakistan, Government of Punjab, Government of Sindh, Government of KP and Government of Balochistan. Mr. Shahzad Chima, Joint Secretary, Ministry of PAS, and representatives of BISP. I believe that the contribution and collaboration of the GIZ and the European Union and other development partners are really significant, and the organization of the second conference in Sindh also recognizes the province's commitment and efforts in social protection. Sindh has made significant progress in building a strong social protection network and a framework to support its vulnerable populations, led by the Sindh Social Protection Authority under Social Protections Department. Dignitaries and distinguished guests, let me share the Social Protection Board, which is chaired by none other than Honorable Chief Minister Sindh, along with the appointment of a Special Assistant to the Chief Minister for ensuring the robust implementation of social protection initiatives across the province. Sindh has achieved significant milestones with the government enhancing mechanisms, introducing safety nets for various groups and striving to reach every vulnerable individual in the support need. In July of 2022, the Government of Sindh formalized its commitment to social welfare by enacting the Social Protection Authority Act. A pivotal function of the SSPA is the development of a dynamic registry to identify and support the poor and vulnerable segments of society, facilitating targeted intervention. Various programs like Sindh People's Housing Program, Mother and Child Support Program, social grants, and other social protection initiatives are helping uplift vulnerable population, those in lower wealth quintiles. Mother and Child Support Program, for example, is the services through the first 1,000 days with a budget of $230 million. The MCPS aims to benefit over 1.3 million women over 5 years in the province of Sindh. To ensure effective targeting and monitoring, the SSPA has developed the Sindh Social Registry, a comprehensive database of the beneficiaries. Benazir Women Agriculture Workers Support Program. This is an initiative focused on empowering women agriculture workers, a segment often underpaid and unrecognized. The Government of Sindh has demonstrated its dedication to social protection through sustainable budgetary allocations previously also and in this year. The fiscal year 23-24, for example, is a significant portion of the budget was earmarked for social protection strategies. Despite this progress, challenges persist. As you are really well aware, the first social protection conference held in 2023 provided a crucial platform of stakeholders to coordinate and develop tools and mechanisms to address challenges in social protection. On similar lines, the National Social Protection Conference will build on this progress, reaffirming the commitments to strengthening the social protection systems. We remain committed to advancing Sindh's journey towards a comprehensive social protection system through strategic planning, substantial resource allocations, and community engagements. We are firm in our commitment and believe that together we can enhance Sindh's and Pakistan's social protection framework through our collective actions. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for arranging this, this beautiful conference, which I really believe is going to really serve the purpose and steer this cause forward all across the country. I'm really thankful to all the organizers, supporters, well-wishers, the stakeholders, academia, and the brains of the policy makers and the implementers that are not only here, but are in support all across the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And great you are with us, because I have a second task for you. But first of all, we have a couple of shields, and as now everybody seems to be here, although one or two colleagues had to leave for the moment, but they might come back. So I would like to request Mr. Lorient from the European Union to hand over a shield to Mr. Najam Shah, Chairman, Planning and Development, Government of Sindh. Thank you very much. And I would also request Mr. Lorient to hand a shield over to Mr. Savaras Raja, Special Assistant to Chief Minister, Sindh, on Social Protection, Government of Sindh. Thank you very much. And now I will request the support of Mr. Najam Shah to hand over shields. So may I request Mr. Najam Shah to hand over shield to Maria Jose Pode, Country Director, GIZ. Then I would like Mr. Najam Shah to hand over a shield to Mr. Naveed Akbar, Director General, BISP. Then Mr. Shah, please hand over a shield to Mrs. Shireen Mustafa, Chairperson, Chief Minister, Inspection Team, Government of Sindh. Okay, next one. Then Mr. Sébastien Lorient, please, you also have the pleasure to get a shield. You. Oh, I have to. May I request Mr. Shah to hand over a shield to Madam Senator Robina Khalid. Then I would like to request a shield given to Dr. Masuma Saidi by Mr. Shah. Only 3-4 more. The next shield is handed over to Mrs. Sophia Shakir, Director, Human and Social Development, Asian Development Bank. Only 2 more, I think. Thank you. And last but not least, Mr. Suhail Saeed Abbasi, Senior Social Protection Specialist, World Bank. And please give a special hand for my dear colleague, Mr. Mr. Najam Shah, for being so kind to hand over the shields. I think that's it. Any announcement? I'm looking at the organizers. Are we good? So it's time for coffee and tea. Time check. I think we still have 25 minutes. While you all proceed for coffee, I would like to all the speakers to come here for a group picture. All the speakers, including Mr. Shah, Ms. Rubina, please come here for a group picture. VIP kind of style, quickly. So we have a photo wall in the back. We would like to request you to make good use of our photo wall. Okay, so there is a suggestion. Can we take the group picture now with everybody? Then we have it out of the way? Because you're all here, right? Okay, so we take a quick picture with the speakers. Please be ready to stand wherever you are because we're going to take a picture from the stage down. Okay? So, out of the way.